This is really one of those rare opportunities where we just take time off and revel in what we do. Thanks.
I'm much shorter than Brian. So, can you all hear me okay? Excellent. Good afternoon. As outgoing chair of the Book Awards Committee, it's with great pleasure that I introduce the winners of the 2009 Pacific Northwest Book Awards. I'm just going to dive right in. A year ago, if someone had told me that I would read and enjoy a book about a buffalo hunt, I would have thought they were nuts. But lo and behold, Steve Rinella's American Buffalo in Search of a Lost Icon was just that book. In 2005, Rinella won a lottery permit for a buffalo hunt in the Copper River Basin of Alaska. Part adventure tale, part history book, American Buffalo follows Steve over the course of the hunt and his trials with icy rivers, grizzly bears, and hypothermia. Throughout the adventure, Steve explores the long relationship between humans and the animals they nearly drove to extinction. Steve is also a correspondent for Outside Magazine and has had his writing published in the New York Times, The New Yorker, Field and Stream, and the Best American Travel Writing, to name a few. He is also the author of The Scavenger's Guide to Haute Cuisine. Steve divides his time between New York City and Alaska. Please join me in welcoming Steve Rinella for his book, American Buffalo in Search of a Lost Icon.
Okay. You know, when I got here, the first thing I did is I asked Brian if I could not be the first person up. He walks away, then a woman comes up and says, "You're the first person up." So, usually when I was out on, like, doing book tour, I fell into this habit of wherever I went, I would establish this really strong Buffalo-related connection to the area. And I can't do that for you. There was some way east of here. And it's funny because I grew up in Michigan. I now live in New York, and I have a place on Prince Wales Island, and those are like 3 of 4 places, including right around this area, where there were no buffalo ever. I don't know. It defies explanation. The other thing is, the next book I'm going to write occurs in such a small little place that I won't have that. I won't feel anymore like I need to make a connection, because I'll assume that there is none. But I want to thank Steve McGraw, my publisher, particularly because they took the time to send me around to a lot of regional shows, regional independent book publisher shows. It was really great. And of all the things I might have done anytime with promotional purposes, it seems like that was the best. And even one day I was at the Mountains and Plains once, and I met a woman, and I established a connection with her that my half-brother, my estranged half-brother, lived for a very short period of time in her town, Estes Park. And she goes, "You know, I wasn't going to buy your book, but I'm going to buy your book now." You know? It was kind of the power of that. So I'd like to thank the Pacific Northwest Booksellers Association very much for noticing my work. And in exchange for doing that, I'm going to try to write something again that will bring you pleasure and hopefully some sales. So thank you very, very much. How do I look?
You're looking good.
Thank you very much.